How did it all get started?
SaaS released 3 years in October. We literally hit the 20,000 milestone today.
What are the main benefits of using Seller Amp?
It saves time and it saves mistakes. It shows you profitability.
What would be the main benefit integrating Seller Amp with BQool?
I've got all sorts of ideas.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a very special guest on our show. He's the founder of Seller Amp. He's here to walk us through some of the best features of sourcing that you could do for Amazon and other marketplaces. It's a pleasure to interview Al Carlton and discuss the steps from sourcing to reselling with the BQool repricer. Welcome, Al. Welcome to our show.
Hi, folks. Thank you for having me on.
So, Al, tell me, what's the founding story of Seller Amp? How did it all get started?
My background is software development, but I've done various different online businesses. And I started selling on Amazon in 2015. And in my selling journeys, like many people, it started off selling used books I had lying around the house, used DVDs, and then I moved on to doing retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. And I've always developed software to help with my different businesses that I've had in my life. And doing the Amazon selling was no different. So I started developing software to help my business. I did inventory management and looking at profits. And then as I expanded, I moved into wholesale, got a warehouse, employed a girl to help me doing the picking and packing. She was really good at shopping and she loved shopping, which I don't. So she wanted to do more hours. So I trained her how to do retail arbitrage, bought a white van. So she spent 4 days of the week driving around buying stuff, 1 day of the week picking, packing it, shipping it into Amazon. But before she did any big purchase, she'd telephone me up to ask, can I spend this much money on these goods? So that I'd be checking my data. And that's where the idea behind SaaS came from. So instead of having to call me, she'd have all that information on the phone. So she could scan the product, we would do the analysis on the phone, and then she'd make an informed buying decision from that. So that's where Seller Amp came from, where we started off with a mobile app. Then it made sense to include all the information in a Chrome extension. And then we've got the web app as well. So there's 3 products in the one tool. Where you've got that mobile app for Android and iOS, Chrome extension for any doing online arbitrage, and the web app for online arbitrage if you're doing wholesale. It's when you've got the full screen so you can see a lot more information at once.
So you created this software for your own business at the start. Is that how it got started, for your own business?
Yeah, because I was selling on Amazon for about 5 years. We did a good few million in sales. I moved on to having my own warehouse, employing staff to do it. But my passion's software. So I created software to help with my business. And I moved from the UK to the US just before COVID started. So I sold, I closed my warehouse down, I sold all my stock, and then just purely focused on the software side of things. So what we did, we converted our internal tool for everybody else to use.
And how did you get your first customer?
Interesting. I was quite active on various Facebook groups when I was a seller on Amazon. And one of the guys I was talking to quite a lot, he did a lot of private label, and he imported goods from China in the stationery niche. So there was a big stationery show in Germany. So about 10 of us got together. We went over there, went to this show, and we just sat in a bar talking afterwards. And I told them what tools I had. So you should release that. And they became my first alpha testers, beta testers, and customers. And I was active in Facebook groups. So once I did actually release the product initially, I just put a post out, did a webinar. People came in and we signed up people straight away. And we've grown from there ever since.
And how long ago was that?
SaaS released 3 years in October.
And it's incredible. I see you guys have more than 20,000 downloads in the Chrome store.
Yeah, we literally hit the 20,000 milestone today.
Today?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Congratulations, Al. That's huge.
Thank you.
That's incredible growth for just in 3 years.
Yeah,
Let's show the value. Now, tell me, what does SaaS stand for?
It stands for Sourcing Analysis Simplified. So what we do, we give you all the information you need when you're sourcing products. The philosophy we've got, we answer 3 questions, can you sell it? Does it sell? Is it profitable? And what we try and do is, when you're sourcing doing OA or RA, most of the things that you'll be looking at, you'll reject. So we want to get you to the rejection stage faster, so then you can start looking at another product.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when you are sourcing, you want to quickly be able to find out what is profitable, what can you sell as well. And why don't we do this? Let's go into the software. Let's do some online arbitrage and see whether or not those products are suitable to sell on Amazon.
Okay.
And you could show us how does the software work, because I think every seller who's doing arbitrage you want to quickly find. And typically I might find the product, I might scan it, then I have to go to Keepa or even other tools, and then I need to check whether or not this product, what the historic buy box price is, whether it's going to be profitable or not for me. Now could you show us how does your software, how does it save time for people?
Okay. Well, I'll share my screen now. So I should have my Amazon page on the screen. So use the Chrome extension to show you how to get into the analysis, because that's the most popular way of using SAS. But then I'll use the web app just because then we can use the full screen so we can see more information at once. So in this example, we do a search for Lego. What I'll do, I'll just go into any old Lego product. So what we can do, we can have SAS coming up automatically, or we can have it on, like just clicking the toolbar will bring up the sort of SAS analysis. So what that's doing here, we have with the first panel is the product panel. So it's telling you like the quick info about the product, so you can make sure it matches what you're actually looking at. Then we've got show you the dimensions, the bullet points. You've got a button so you can quickly open the Amazon product page, because you can use the extension on any website. So you might want to be going to Amazon from another website. We can do a quick search on Google for the product title, and we can open it in a new window. So what I'll do now, I'll open this in the SAS web app. So then it's up, so then we can see it all on the one page. So the quick info is, so with this product, I've got a very new seller account in the USA and I'm not eligible to sell this product. So if I was actually doing sourcing right now, I would move on to the next product.
That's super helpful, right? Because if a lot of times, let's say you get a product, you bring it back in, and you can't sell it. You're not authorized. You have to get ungated for that product. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is super helpful for people.
So what the quick info is like a summary of the other panels. So the sort of legibility is also in the alerts panel, and we've got the alert summary. So in the alerts panel, we can see it's restricted. We have got an auto ungate button, which will try and ungate you. They're telling you whether it's going to hazmat or not, if it's dangerous goods, whether Amazon share the buy box, if it's think it's private label, if you've heard of any IP issues, then standard size, if it's multiple, and or if there's like variations. So all the alerts are used to answer the question of can I sell it? And it's also like can I sell it and should I sell it?
So what criterias do you recommend? Because I use the software. I saw there's some default settings set up already. For example, you want to make a 25% ROI. You want to get a bestseller rank less than maybe 2% or 1 to 2%. What kind of criteria do you recommend sellers when they're sourcing product?
Right. I'll go to the settings to show you what settings you can set into. So like we don't sort of force you to be sort of you've got to buy something, you've got to make this much profit or this much return on investment. But you can sort of you set your criteria and then we'll highlight whether it matches your criteria. Because one thing I always tried to do was like diversify. If I'm buying something from a clearance line, I know I can't replenish it. I want to be making a higher return on investment. I want to be making more profit on a clearance item than I would be if I bought something from wholesale where I'm going to do a lot more volume. But if the margin then is lower, I'm fine with that because the volume will make up for it. So, as a rule of thumb, I would generally say 30% return on investment, $3 profit, but it would really depend on the sourcing of the product. Because what I would often do is buy clearance from a distributor by the pallet load, where I'll be getting a few pallets of the same product. With that, I would try and sell, say, rough numbers, say a third of it fairly quickly, low return on investment, to try and get some of the money back in. I'd save a third of it until other people had sold out. Because I knew it was clearance, I knew it was an end of line. So once people sold out, they couldn't replenish. And then I would also save the rest of it for Q4 when I'm going to make the maximum profit. So I would diversify on a single product line. Obviously, you could diversify, go wide with lots of different products rather than deep on one product, but I'd also diversify on one product if you can.
Okay, so that's a business strategy. Let's say you're able to get a whole pallet, a whole lot of clearance items. And I like how in your software, you could also see how many offers there are for that product.
Yeah. So if I go back to the analysis, so the can you sell it is based on the alerts panel. The other really cool feature, which is it's only one little box, which is max cost. So that the max cost tells you how much you need to pay for this product to make the criteria you set for your minimum return on investment and your minimum profit. So that's what the max cost you can pay to do that. So if you're doing online arbitrage or you're doing retail arbitrage, you don't have to enter the cost price to know it'll meet your criteria. You can see, yeah, it's got to be under £8.20 for me to be able to make my desired profit.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, like what is the max cost that you should get this under than that. If it's over than that, then okay, maybe this is not a product that I should sell.
Yeah, it's like with this one, it's just saying eight. Like your max cost is calculated based on all the different Amazon fees that you're going to get charged. You can put your own miscellaneous fees and miscellaneous costs in. So if it was $9, you can see how the max cost has gone red because it's over the max cost. The return on investment is red and the profit is red. If I go for £8.25, now the profit's red because it's under my desired $3, but the return on investment is green because it is over the 30% return on investment that I put as my criteria. So once you know what the cost price is, like if it's close, yeah, you still might want to go for it. And then you can look at what other sellers are selling the product for. You look at we generate our own charts from Keeper data. So you can look at historic sales, historic prices, and say with this one, okay, there's only 4 in stock at 1954, 1 in stock at 1998. So what happens if I met these, say go for the 24.99? So if I just tap on that price here, it'll automatically put the price in the profit calculator and recalculate everything for you.
Oh, that's a cool shortcut. Yeah, you could just put in the price and see if it's going to be profitable for you as well and how much profit you can make.
Yeah, because as it sort of develops from a seller, like I'm both a developer and a seller. A lot of the development has got the sort of seller mentality in it. What's useful for a seller, and like from simple things like in the office panel, we'll mark the buy box in bold, so it's obvious who's got the buy box. Then an update we added last week, like with this one, it's a 6 pack. So say we could buy those at £2.49. What we can do is just enter 6 times £2.49, hit enter, and it does the calculation for you. So we've got lots of little shortcuts in SAS just to speed up your analysis and speed up finding rejections and finding the good stuff.
I'm pretty new to Seller Amp, so let me try it myself. I'm going to try this right now. I've never used Seller Amp to source, and it's my first time trying. So let me see how easy it is for people who are new, especially for our BQool audience here. So, I might need your help a little bit to walk me through, but I'm going to try this out. I'm going to go
Okay.
ahead here. So I'm going to share my screen, guys, and then, okay, let me go to a new window. So I'm on Amazon here. So I have a pair of Nike shoes right here that I am able to source. I have a good source for this, I think. I can get this for maybe $100 from the manufacturer, from a wholesale account. Yeah. And then, as you guys know, Nike doesn't sell directly on Amazon. That's why a lot of people do an arbitrage for Nike. So I'm going to see whether or not at $100 this is going to be profitable. So I'm first going to the Chrome extension here, and then I click on the Seller Amp, and then here it pops up here. And then I'm going to now just quickly look through this. And if I'm on the mobile phone, they also have a very nice app that you could use as well. Yeah, so there's actually a good app both for Android and also for Apple that you could use. So here I am. I could also switch where I want in the window, and I'm going to click on the desktop view here. So this has pulled in that ASIN that I searched for here. And I know that it's selling for 144 per month. And here I'm going down here, and then my cost is $100. Okay, so $100 here. At $100, at the sales price of 160. Now, where does this sales price? Where does that come from?
We're pulling that in from Amazon, so we're getting that's the current buy box that we're displaying. So we look for the most common price, whether it's the buy box. If there isn't a buy box, we'll look at the next lowest. If you've been on a listing before, like we maintain a history of everything that you analyze. So if you've changed prices before, we'll remember those prices as well. So that's what the sort of current buy box is for that ASIN.
Okay, fantastic. And then I could see just on this panel here, I am in the top percent. My BSR, my bestseller rank is 153,000. And within that category, and I know on your website, you also have all the bestseller rank for different type of products.
Yes, we update those every 24 hours. And it's crazy how many products there are on Amazon. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's incredible. So you guys could also do that to see the bestseller rank. You could find that on Seller Amp's website. And then when you keep going down here, what is interesting for me is the number of offers here. So there's number of offers. There's 18 different offers, and then you have both FBA and FBM. And as you guys know, using a repricer, you would know that depending on the number of offers, we pull in the top 20 offers. So we're able to pull this data into the repricer here, and then we could see that all the stock. I really like that. The number of stock people have. And you can even grab whether or not Amazon is on this listing as well, because that would all factor into your pricing as well. And then, so based on this, I know that at $100, I'm getting about a 28%. And then it's more than the 25% that I've set. And I can also see all the total fees here. I can see all the total fees. And a really nice feature I like here is you can actually put in how many months that you think it's going to take you to sell the product. So you could actually put how many months right here, storage months here. So if I think I could probably sell it in 3 months, this total fees will update for me. And then I can know. And what is very nice is because for BQool, we have the inventory based repricing. So you
Right.
can use the inventory, you can put it at 90 days, you could set it at a different min price. So with this tool, you can see what kind of prices that you should set your mins and max. And then I love how you integrate this with Keepa. Do sellers have to pay more for Keepa? Because Keepa is usually like about $17.
I'd always recommend to keep a subscription because like Keep is a really useful tool. But like all of our charts, we generate ourselves from our own Keep a sort of developer subscription. So everything in SaaS will work without you having a Keep a subscription.
Yeah, so you have the Keepa here. I think to a year, usually would recommend people maybe looking at it 3 months when you're setting the prices. Because a lot of the arbitrage sellers, you want to get rid of your products within 3 months. Now, Al, this is easy enough. Like, this is very nice. I was able to quickly just look at it. I love the UI. It was very intuitive. I didn't have to ask you too many questions when I was going through this as a seller. And then I love how it also tells me whether Amazon shares the buy box or not, because that goes into a factor. We are able to reprice against Amazon, but Amazon usually is very competitive.
Yeah.
You have to have a very competitive price in order to get the buy box for that. Yeah, so this is fantastic. Yeah, I love it. Now, based from your experience, I want to ask you, what are some of the top 3 products to sell in 2022? I guess I know Q4 is coming up, and there's no right or wrong answer, but it's just your opinion. Like, what do you think?
I like to be different. I don't sell anymore. Like my time now is purely dedicated to software. When I did sell, I was very much into toys, but everybody sells toys. Everybody seems to start with toys, then sort of move on to other products. So I would look at sort of different products that aren't so mainstream. Like look at boring products. Like one thing I did very well with was light bulbs. The small LED bulbs had a huge margin on them. They're very easy to ship. You got quite a lot of returns because they break. But I had those listings to myself for about 2 years, and I made a really nice return on them.
You're absolutely right. Like, it's a light bulb when you buy them just from the store, it's expensive. I got a light bulb the other day. It was like $8. Yeah. And then I went online and looked for it, and it was like $2, three
Yeah,
bucks.
like because with SaaS, we make it as fast as possible for you to scan things. Like say, because you can scan things on any website, so you can go down the website and scanning different things until you find something that works. Like you might have to scan 100 things to get one gem, but that gem could well easily pay for your time.
Yeah. So it's a huge time saver.
Yeah, and it's like the harder something is to find, kind of the better, because it means you're going to get less competition.
Now, Al, I know I'm digging into a little bit of your history, but you used to own a site, which has the technical gadgets and the top 20 products and stuff like that. So, what's a good Father's Day gift? Yeah, what do you recommend?
Like I'm really into techie stuff, so I'm like a really gadget site I used to own. I did really well with digital pitch frames. So for Father's Day gift, now depending if you've got a techie dad, get something digital, like whether it's an Alexa device. Like I'm into my sort of Apple products. Yeah, I would go for technology, but that's kind of me just being a bit nerdy.
Yeah, so some of those like Alexa or Hello Siri, those type of devices that can really save time. Like one of the items that I think is pretty cool, but it's been a little dated, is like the window blinds that you can automatically open and close.
Yeah, at the moment I'm in a rental property, so I can't do too much. But when I get my next place, yeah, that's going to be sort of smarted and gadgeted out to the max. But yeah, having like your auto opening blinds and things, yeah, that's cool.
I got a question. Like we asked about the products that, the top products that you should sell in 2022. What about the products that you shouldn't sell? Like what are some of the common mistakes people make?
I do a funny story when I sort of started out. The store was in the UK. It was Argos. Over here, it's like we Walmart. But they had these massive Millennium Falcons. They were huge. When we were going into the store to do retail arbitrage, one of my first things that I was buying, I'd not analysed it before, doing like using spreadsheets, going pretty slow because SaaS didn't exist then. And going into the store, I think it was we'd been buying them for about $20 and selling them for $50, but they were huge. And like, yeah, $20, $50, I'm going to be making money on this. And it turned out, yeah, I was making money, but only a fraction of what I thought it was because the fees were so high, because it was oversized. And I wasn't checking what the fees would have been for that. And like the other really sort of daft thing I did, when I went in to buy them, I was going to buy five. They're £20 each, buying five, it's going to be like, say, £100. So I get to the counter, she comes back to me saying, no, it's only sort of 66. I'm like, no, it should be more than that. Oh, no, there's a 3 for 2 sale on. And I'm like, hang on, these were profitable before. And now there's a 3 for 2 sale? So I bought five in a 3 for 2 sale, which is a bit crazy, but there we go. But that's one of the things I didn't analyze in advance how much the fees were on this product. So it isn't just a case of the fees for actually the FBA fee for shipping it. It's also the fees for shipping it into Amazon. And like you could only get a couple of these in a box because they were huge.
So you're carrying these things around, five of them, trying to put them into
Yeah,
your car,
I,
stuff them into your car.
I had a relatively small car at the time as well, so I could only get. I thought I could probably only get five in the car. But in hindsight, they were 3 for 2. I should have bought six or three, but there we go.
And then you try to ship them in, stuffing them in the box as well.
Yeah, because then I had to sort of Frankenstein boxes together to sort of ship them into Amazon. But so I said, sort of know your numbers when you're shipping in. Because like a massive seller that I knew in the UK, he was also sort of selling in Europe, but he didn't realise the fees were higher. So he was selling an awful lot of amount, and for the first month or so, he was actually making a loss because he didn't realise or he didn't account for how much extra the fees were.
And Al, like I know in your software, you also have that VAT tax. How does that help European sellers?
Okay, I cannot give financial advice about VAT because I'm not an accountant. But like in the US, you have sales tax, so most of your prices are before sales tax. Then you add sales tax on. In the UK, most of the prices include VAT. So if you sell VAT is 20%, but it's not 20% of the final price. You calculate the final price by adding 20% on to the before VAT price. So if a product was say £12, it would be £10 plus £2 VAT. And then if you're VAT registered, you can claim the VAT back when you buy things, but you've got to pay the VAT when you sell things. But you don't pay VAT on the Amazon fees. Well, if you're not VAT registered, you don't pay VAT, but you can't claim anything back. But Amazon charge you VAT on their fees. So there's quite a lot of calculations in there to do it. Like they're relatively simple calculations, but it's not something you'd want to do in your head. So that's one of the things we do with Sash. You set the VAT scheme, and it works it all out for you. Whether what your VAT you can reclaim is, how much VAT you've got to pay.
Yeah, that would really help you to know whether or not the product is profitable or not. Yeah, because
Yeah, because
sometimes the
like
taxes come into play, then it takes away that profit, especially if you have an item that the profit margin isn't very high to start out with, or even a high ticket item.
yeah, like VAT does make a big difference in the UK. If you're not VAT registered, you can become exempt from paying VAT on your Amazon fees, but you've got to raise a case with Amazon, prove you're a business, and then they'll stop charging you VAT. Then there's also some categories where you don't pay VAT, like some grocery you don't, like sort of baby clothes is like reduced rate, and with those, you're best off speaking to a financial advisor. Like SAS will give you the sort of equipment to work it out correctly, but we're not going to say no, you don't pay VAT on these biscuits Because like some biscuits are classed as cake. If it's a luxury, you'd be paying VAT. If it isn't a luxury, you wouldn't be paying VAT. So we don't want that responsibility, but we'll give you the tools so you can actually get the correct stats out if you put in the correct information.
Okay, so you insert into SAS yourself the VAT, so that it also depends if you are registered VAT or not. And I know in the UK there's also a limit that you can sell. That's my understanding.
Yeah, this is getting onto into like an accounting question, but like if you turn over more, I think it's 85,000 a year, you have to be registered for VAT. Well, most of the time you have to be registered. Like if you're turning over 85,000 plus of vatable products, you have to be VAT registered. And also, if you're selling in the UK from another and your business is in another country, you have to be VAT registered regardless of your turnover. Because like the goods, if it's FBA, the goods are being stored in the UK.
These are really important advice for the people watching this.
But I am not giving financial advice.
That's right. So tell me, what are the main benefits of using Seller Amp?
It saves time and it saves mistakes. Those are like the two big benefits. And like if it stops you from buying one dodgy deal or one dud deal, it'll pay for its subscription just like that. And like it'll help you find good deals faster.
So, how's Seller Amp better than some of your competitors, especially the European ones?
Like we're in continual development. I think one of our sort of discerning factors is I am the sort of primary developer and I've had the experience of being a seller. So I am developing it from a seller's mindset. As a seller, that makes a lot of sense. I can actually put it into the development. So we've got like three tools. There's like a web app, the mobile app, and the Chrome extension. Chrome extension works on any website. We've got full history. You can export to Google Sheets. You've got like multiple exports. So I typically don't look at other tools. I listen to what our users say. If our users make a suggestion, then we'll implement it. And a lot of the developments just come from experience. One thing I do find, we'll add a feature, then I'll hear on the grapevine some other tools added a feature, which it happens. I think we are sort of innovating in our space and really taking it forward, like new ideas. Like we introduced sort of SaaS Smart Search. I was actually going to launch that on Christmas Day, just so nobody else could sort of know the tool could do it, because people don't normally work on Christmas Day. And what like a Smart Search, SaaS Smart
What's
Search.
that? Yeah, what's SaaS Smart Search?
Yeah, if you're on a product page on any website, launch SaaS will analyze a page and try and search Amazon for that product. So you can do it with a keyboard shortcut, like I have mine set up as like Command S to do a SaaS Smart Search. Click the toolbar or right click, and yeah, that will then search the Amazon catalog for the products that you are currently looking at on any website. But it's like in the mobile app, we've added like a share option, so you can be on any other mobile application. If you use the share menu, you can select text on that, share that to SaaS, and we will do the analysis based on what you've just shared into the mobile app. And there's other like little things like with the mobile app, if you want to scan something, just you shake the phone and it'll bring up the scanner so you can start scanning. So instead of needing two hands to push the scan button, you can shake the phone, scan an item, shake the phone, scan an item. And it's things like that that have come about from having experience sort of as a seller in the real world.
Yeah, going to Argos, getting those huge overstocked items and many
Yeah,
other items, of course, from your
like
actual
you learn
experience.
from your mistakes. We'd all love to always buy profitable items, but every now and again you'll get a dud. And we try and minimize the duds, but we'll still get them. And like you can't control other sellers do. Like you'll say, with being a repricer, you're going to have other sellers you don't understand how they can be selling at that price and still making a profit. And some of them probably aren't. So you've got to have better tools than other sellers. Like, yeah, you don't want to price match somebody if you're going to be losing money at it, unless you want to liquidate your stock. So using other tools and automation, you can really sort of help your business. And like I think reprice is a great example of automation where, like, yeah, you could reprice yourself, but there's no way you can reprice yourself as fast as a repricer can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we could do it every 2 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes.
Yes. Yeah, I suppose maybe you could do that, hitting refresh, but do you want to spend all day every day repricing your products?
Here's a question that I get a lot. I'm going to ask you. Like, people always ask me, like, when should I get a repricer, right? And my standard answer is like when you have maybe over 50 SKUs, or if you have some very expensive high ticket items. So if you have more than 50 listings or 50 SKUs, what about for your product for Seller Amp? How many listings? Like, if someone's getting started, like, what is suitable for them?
If I was getting started, I'd get Seller Amp from day one because you get a 2-week free trial. So you can try it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Move on. But like when you're first starting, having a tool like Seller Amp will really help because it shows you your profitability. It shows you whether you can be buying and selling things. Like you can analyze a load of products without actually buying any. Just do a test. Just keep sort of doing like an OA experiment. Can you find products that you're going to make money on? Like you don't have to buy them, but you can still do spend 2 weeks without spending any money and just seeing
Yeah,
like,
I
oh
love
yeah,
that.
yeah, so in answering the repricer question, yeah, 50 is probably not a bad number. Once you find you're spending too long manually repricing, then you need a repricer. Once you're like the profit you're making is going to cover the cost of a repricer, which it probably would be less than 50 SKUs depending on how fast you're selling. And like managing like 50 SKUs doesn't sound a lot, but you've repriced 50 SKUs manually. That takes a lot of doing.
Yeah, it'll take a couple of hours. How do you get the most value using Seller Amp?
Like, I think the value comes from the time it saves you. Saves mistakes, but it's the time it saves you in sourcing. Is that where you'll get the value? And like rejecting products, like you can get into like analysis paralysis where you'll be looking at every single stat, which you don't need to do that. You can reject things pretty quickly. And like, yeah, if you're going to be buying thousands of a products, then you want to analyze a lot more. But if you're buying 10 from a clearance line, you do some analysis, but you don't need to dig into everything.
And what are the most important settings when you're just getting started using Seller Amp?
Most important settings are going to be how much profit you want to make, what return on investment, and it's going to be on your BSR. Like those are the most important ones for like working out the criteria. I would say look at the average 30-day price rather than the current price, because your current price is just like a snapshot in time which can change. But like looking at your average 30-day or 90-day will give you a better picture of that product, the history of that product.
Yeah, I like what you just said. Backtrack a little bit. Like you said about using the 14 days and you could just try out the tool. It's kind of like when, let's say, somebody's getting into stocks, right? They might want to pretend to buy a couple of stocks and see, how much money they make. And then it's the same idea if you're doing online or retail arbitrage. You could use the app, you can scan, and you can see whether this product is profitable or not. And then you can check back later if you probably would have sold that product or not. So I
Yeah,
like that the free trial. That's really nice for people just getting started.
because like we maintain a history of everything you scan. So what you can do, so you can export to Google Sheets, or we can just use your history. We can create tags so you can filter your history. So if you're doing like a 2 week trial, you can sort of tag things like, yeah, I would have bought this tag, I would have bought this tag. Then end of your 2 weeks, go back in, filter your history on what you would have bought. You can see what the cost price was. You can see what the sale price is now. Has the price dropped? Has the price maintained? And to see if you would have actually made money on that.
So, Al, what would be the main benefit, let's say for a BQool customer or even for a Seller Amp customer, like for integrating Seller Amp with BQool?
I've got all sorts of ideas. Like one of the nice things, like if I can quickly share my screen, I'll show you what we do on an Amazon page.
Oh, sure, no problem.
So if I go back to a Amazon page, what I will go back to the logo search. So on here, we display the SaaS logo next to each product. Like we could do this in BQool, where you could just display a SaaS logo, it's out of the way on all of your listings. You click that, and then you'll get the full SaaS analysis. So you'll be able to see what the stock levels are for that product, whether you want to change your repricing strategy. And it just gives you very quick access to more analysis from within BQool. The other thing I'd really like to add is obviously to do your repricing, you need to be able to enter the cost of goods. When you're sourcing, to see how much profit you're going to make, you need to enter your cost of goods. So if you've got to enter it in two places, what would be really cool is if you could enter it in SaaS and then we could export that information over to BQool. And we could even do it where you could export information, which repricer sort of setting you want to put in, what your minimum return on investment you want, what your max is, your minimum max sort of sale price. So if you could actually set those settings at the sourcing stage, it will just save another step. And when the product gets shipped into Amazon, when it hits Amazon, all your repricing rules are already set for you.
Yeah, that would be super convenient. It'll save a lot of time because right now I think the process is sellers they would use a sourcing tool and maybe in this case Seller Amp, and then they will have to find out whether it's profitable or not, and then they will go into BQool and set the mins and maxes, and that takes an extra step. Yeah, so that would
Yeah,
save a lot of the sellers a lot of time.
yeah. Like any automation you can do that helps your business, it just makes sense. So what you find is if you're doing something more than once, try and find a way of automating it. If you can't automate it, outsource it.
And then what kind of results can Amazon sellers expect after using Seller Amp compared to before using Seller Amp?
Going to go back to you'll do things faster, you'll make less mistakes. We've got some of our users are doing like 8 figures in sales a year. We've also got users that are just starting out. So it will just speed up the process, and it will just help you find more profitable products and like buy less sort of dodgy products.
Yeah, so it really help you to be able to pick the right products. And then, like you mentioned, right? If you have a whole bunch of products that you purchase that aren't profitable, you would easily gain that back just by having a few profitable products instead using Seller Amp. Now, the
Yeah,
question for you, Al, is any plans to go on other platforms? I know that I've seen people use your app also on eBay as well.
yeah, like we have a SaaS panel where we can sort of quickly link to eBay so you can see like previous sold listings or what like, the current listings are for a product. We have been asked a few times now, can we create an app specially for eBay, working out like your different eBay fees and what have you. So yeah, we've got quite a few ideas and things in the works at the moment. So it runs on Chrome, a mobile app, say Android and iOS. We're thinking about putting it on a watch. Obviously, a watch has got much more limited space. I've had a mess around having it on an Alexa show before, but actually talking to Alexa to get your product to do a product search isn't the best of interfaces, but it was kind of cool to do.
Yeah. Any new features or upcoming features that are in the pipeline that you can talk about?
Yeah, we're working on multi-user at the moment. So if you have VAs, they'll all have their own login. And when you look at the history, you'll be able to see what VAs sort of found what, and you'll be able to see how many sort of items a VA has scanned, how many they've marked as like you should buy this or you shouldn't buy this. So like a full sort of multi-user management system is in development at the moment. Want to do another SaaS panel, which would be a buy box analysis, where then would show you like the percentage of like Amazon's had a buy box 50% of the time, seller A's had it 20% of the time, seller B this percent of the time. And like we've got a lot of sort of different ideas and things that we'll be adding in. I can't say too much because like we want to sort of innovate with some of these ideas and we'll just like put them on the market before anybody else does.
And what I really like, Al, is that you talk to a lot of sellers. For example, you talk to Miles and the Warner Fields and also other large sellers as well. And you can actually get those ideas flowing. So these are actually directly from the market. And it's going to work great. And they're using it. They're having a great time. They're having great experience using that is. What is the pricing like for Seller Amp?
Actually, I can show you one more feature that's been really popular. Like, we launched it quite a while ago, and that's the storefront search. That's a good one for like new sellers.
Could you just quickly demo that for our audience? That would be
Yeah, I'll
fantastic.
find a seller that's got quite a lot of feedback, so I'm not picking on somebody's a smaller storefront. So what your storefront search does, it will show you all the products in this seller's storefront, what their price is. Again, we've got the max cost, so you can see the different offers. We can like so with this one, we can see what we can filter it on Nike, so we can see what Nike products they are selling. And this is really good. Like if you're looking for like an own brand, like say if you're doing like good value, you'd search for good value, find a seller that's selling good value products, do a reverse search on that. So then you can sort of see products that have been bought from Walmart or Target to actually help you to source products based on what another seller is already selling.
Yeah, so you could go to their store, you could scan all of their products, so you could see how profitable their products are. You could also see where to get them as well. Is that right?
Yes, if I did a search for good value, which I think that's your Walmart own
Yeah,
brand,
that's their own brand.
is it good value or is it something else?
Great value. It's great
That's it.
value.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So if you do a search for great value, yeah. So you look at a Walmart brand. So if I go into one of these now, so I'll go into so we're doing like the analysis on this product. But what we can do, if you go down to the offers table, we'll see what other sellers are selling this brand. So we know where they bought it from. So I'll look for one this guy's pretty big, 5,000 reviews. So if I look at their storefront, we can then filter it like Equate is another own brand. So we can see what all of the Equate products are. So from here, we can actually search Google for your motion sickness. And here we'll see, yeah, it's coming up as Walmart. So you can very quickly go down a rabbit hole of sourcing products from somebody else's storefront. So we're showing here where they're selling for $9.41. The buy box is $7.94. So we've got to be, with that one, we've got to be paying like 53 cents. So that probably isn't a good product. So you'd be looking for a higher value or a multi-pack. But yeah, so that's storefront search, which that is really popular.
Yeah, that's a really cool feature because then you could find products, you could see which ones are profitable, and then you go and purchase those products and then send them in. So I love
Yeah.
that. So what's the pricing like for a product like yours? At the sourcing, it also shows you keep data, integrates that very nicely. For a product like this, how much does it cost?
Okay, at the moment we've got two packages. So we've got the Getting Started and the Getting Serious. With the Getting Started, it's 16.95 a month. You can install it on one phone, and you can install two Chrome extensions, and you can do 1,000 scans a month. Which, when you're getting started, 1,000 scans a month is quite a lot. When you want to move on from that to unlimited scans a month, we have the Getting Serious, and with that, that lets you install it on three phones and five Chrome extensions, and say unlimited scans per month. And like they've both got a 2 week free trial. And like with the BQool coupon, you'll get 50% off the first month.
Oh, wow, that's incredible. Yeah,
So effectively, with the Getting Started package, you're going to be getting that for just over $8 for 6 weeks.
yeah, that's, I mean, $8 to start your business, like that's unheard of.
I'm not a salesperson at all, but like these prices are due to go up because they've been like this since we launched. So we are due to our prices will be going up, but I'll be sending emails out before they do. And I want to get because once we get the full multi-user system in, we'll be adding another package. Like all of our prices, whatever price you subscribe at, you'll be grandfathered in for the lifetime of your subscription.
Oh, that's incredible. So, hey guys, if you're listening to this, now is the time to start subscribing to Seller Amp SAS because the price may go up. It will go up. Inflation is happening. There's additional costs. Amazon's raising the prices for many of their services, as you know. So get your subscription and then make sure to use the 14-day free trial to try it out for free first. And then you could also get 50% off for the BQool special offer that Al is generously sharing with us. Thank you for your time today. Thanks, Hal. Is there anything else you want to tell our audience before we finish off today?
I've only scratched the surface of the features we've got in SaaS, but I'd say yeah, give it a try and make some money with it.
Thanks, Hal.
Thank you very much for having me on, and hope to
Yeah,
speak
and
soon.
this is Al from Seller Amp. Thank you, Al. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Cheers.